A little later than usual this month, but it's time to have a look at some new toys. Hello there, welcome back to the channel. I am Grand Moff Tony. Well, with the toy hunt out and all of the spoilers spoiled, it's finally time to have a closer look at the pickups that we got from last month. It is time once again for Fine Editions.
Fine addition to my collection.
Yes, welcome back to Fine Editions. It's been a great month for new additions to the collection this month. We had a fantastic toy hunt over in the UK, which you can see on the channel, and it's time to go in and have a look at what we picked up this month. So let's not waste any time, let's get straight to it. Now, back at the start of the month, I wrote an essay for college, which ended up winning first prize at an award ceremony. So I got a tasty little cash prize for that, and I spent it on this. This is the Redline Dr. Aphra. Now, obviously, Aphra recently got a re-release, and that probably brought the value of this one down, made it easier to obtain, but I wanted this version. I think the trench coat on the new one kind of drowns out a lot of the articulation, so I'm really glad I was able to add this version of Aphra to my collection. Along with BT1, I am now 2 out of 3 of the Aphra trio, just looking for 000 to complete that triumvirate. This is a fantastic figure. The articulation is exceptional. I'm pretty sure it's the old Jaina Solo body, but it's just the best female body in the Black Series. This was another one of those holy grail figures that I really wanted to add to my collection, so I am so glad to welcome her in. Dr. Aphra, welcome to the collection. And now we get into the pickups from the Great British Toy Hunt. And first among them was this. This is Magistrate Greef Karga. Now, as some of you may know, I have walked away from this figure a number of times in the US because I didn't think I really wanted it, and I definitely didn't want to pay full retail price for it. But when I saw it sitting on a shelf for less than £10 in game, I wasn't going to say no. I was going to pick it up and take it home. So I'm very glad to actually add this figure to my collection, and I'm pretty sure this rounds out wave 34 if you're not counting the Grogu figure, which I'm not counting because for as much as I didn't want to pay retail for Magistrate Greef, I do not want to pay retail for that Grogu figure. But this actually turned out to be a pretty great figure. The head sculpt is a marked improvement over the original, which I always thought was fine looking, but it actually looks so much better on the new one, and I have to admit, I do like his more regal attire on this figure. It kind of limits the articulation, but what do you really need to do for Greef? Just have him standing with his hands on his hips or one hand on his blaster and you're done. It's a brilliant figure. I'm glad I paid what I did for it. Welcome to the collection. In the very same game, on the very same discount shelf, I found this. This is the Aldhani Mission Cassian Andor from the Andor series. And it's another figure that I walked away from at full price retail back when I was doing the Canada toy hunt. I actually found this figure in Walmart pretty early on in that hunt, but I walked away from it because it was very overpriced for what it is, and turns out it was a great idea because I found it an absolute steal as part of the British toy hunt. Apparently, to find good deals on figures, I just have to go to different countries. This is a brilliant figure. I don't know if it will be able to be passed off like I thought it would be as just a member of the Imperial Infantry, just a regular Imperial soldier, because it's got such a good Cassian head sculpt on it that you really can't make any additional use out of because this little Imperial cap doesn't come off. It's also pretty limited on accessories. It only really comes with this little blaster pistol. There's no, like, Imperial blaster rifle that comes with it. It's just a regular old Cassian figure, and I thought it was cool, and I got it for an absolute steal. So this was a great addition to the collection that I'm very glad I paid what I did for. But now we're getting into the really good stuff. Again, as part of the British toy hunt, in a HMV in Woking, I found this. This is the comic line Mara Jade Skywalker. Now, she comes from the same line as the updated Dr. Aphra came from, but this was really the one that I was looking for. I did also find Mike while I was there, but I don't have Sergeant Creel yet, and I kind of want to get Sergeant Creel first, if I am going to end up building up that Stormtrooper squad. A lot like Aphra, because it is the exact same mold, this is an exceptional figure with some fantastic posing potential. I absolutely love the sculpt and the paintwork on the hair. It just looks incredible for a character that isn't even technically photo real because she hasn't appeared in any live action or even animated media. This is an absolute knockout of a figure. I've never really made it a secret on the channel that I wasn't the biggest fan of the original EU, but the Thrawn novels that introduced Mara Jade are an exception to that because it's Thrawn, And this was a character that I've always really enjoyed, and to actually get her in Black Series form is incredibly satisfying. I had no interest in the Jaina Solo figure, for instance, because I don't really care about that era of the Star Wars EU, but Mara Jade I think is a fantastic addition to the line. And hey, they ended up using the same body, and like I said before when I was talking about Aphra, it is the best female body in the line, so Mara Jade, welcome to the collection. And the great finds just kept coming on that toy hunt, because on a trip up to London at Forbidden Planet, I also came across this. This is the Imperial Light Cruiser variant of Luke Skywalker. Now, I missed out on this figure back when the original version was, I believe, a Walgreens exclusive. The old one with the brown cloak from Jabba's palace. But this is a fantastic update to that figure. It's got the brand new, thicker and greener lightsaber blade, and naturally this is one of my favorite looks for Luke Skywalker. He had one of the best scenes in Mandalorian Season 2, and I've always liked Jedi Luke. I liked Luke in the black outfit. It just looked cool. Now I know what you're thinking. Where's the robe? Well, it's right here. It's complicated. It's a complicated robe, and I fiddled with it for about 20 minutes on the couch when I first unboxed this guy, and I could never get it to sit where I wanted it to sit. So I'm kind of torn about how to go about displaying this figure, because I would love for it to be my Mandalorian Luke and display it right up there on my shelf with my other Mandalorian figures. But this robe is just so hard to work with. The hood is so poofy, and it sticks out, and it doesn't stay where you put it, and the robe is very heavy and flowing. Now obviously that's what you want it to look like, because you want him to look all mysterious and sweeping in and executing dark troopers left, right and center. But I really don't want to lose this awesome Luke mold in that massive fabric, and that is really what it feels like I'm doing. So I'm kind of torn about the robe. I might keep it on, I might take it off. If I don't ever manage to track down another Jedi Luke, this just might end up being my Jedi Luke, and I'll stick this in my accessories box and call it a day. But in the meantime, I am very grateful to add this to my collection. In another Forbidden Planet over in Bristol, I came across this little gem. This is the Jedi Survivor Cal Kestis. What a brilliant figure, and what a brilliant game. I finished it in about 3 days, and it was a fantastic game. I really loved the story, and as soon as I finished it, I wanted this guy. I wanted him so badly. I don't usually mess around with the appearance customization in games like this, so this is how I played Jedi Survivor. This is the Cal that I used, with a different lightsaber blade, obviously. And really, I think that's all this figure is missing. It's missing the sort of customization you could get from the game. Like, why do we always get the same single-bladed blue lightsaber whenever we get a Cal Kestis figure? That deluxe set that we got a while back was good, because you got the single-bladed blue one, but you also got the double-bladed green one. So I was kind of hoping for more of that, to be honest. I was hoping that we'd get like the crossguard saber, or maybe some sabers for him to dual wield. I thought that would be cool. But all of that aside, this is a fantastic figure. It is brilliantly sculpted. As you can see, it holds a pose really well, and of course it comes with another BD1 figure, and I'm never going to say no to that. The face sculpt is incredible. It looks so accurate to the game. I'm incredibly happy with this, even if I wanted more accessories, and I think we all kind of know that we're probably going to get a second one of these the same way we got a deluxe Cal last time. We're probably going to see a deluxe Jedi Survivor Cal that's going to come with some different lightsaber blades and, I don't know, other accessories, and maybe another little bogling, I don't know. But in the meantime, this is a brilliant figure, and I'm really glad I picked it up. So while that was the last of the technically new figures that I picked up, I did pick up a couple of doubles and improvements while I was over there. Starting with this. This is the archive re-release of Princess Leia in her Boushh disguise, and I picked this up because it adjusts the height so it's more screen accurate. Of course, the original Boushh is just a Boushh. I mean, it's just full-sized. It's obviously not Princess Leia until you take the helmet off. It's still too tall, and all of that nonsense that everyone's already gone into a myriad of more detail in. But this is a brilliant figure. I'm very happy with it. The soft goods on the back are a little bit bit sticky outy. I guess I got lucky with my first one and it was properly like squished against the body so it didn't do this flapping thing. But I'm gonna have to work with it and see if I can get it to stay. It's a brilliant figure. It's a good update on the original, and it's good to see the archive line actually addressing problems with the original figures beyond just giving them a fresh photoreal update. I hope we get to see more little improvements like this make their way into the archive line, because there are some figures out there that need it. If they're going to get an archive re-release, they need more than just a new coat of paint. They need some proper engineering improvements. But this one it gives me hope. It definitely gives me hope. And in the same vein, I also picked up another Yavin Ceremony Leia, which I have brutally beheaded and used the head as an improvement for my slave Leia in my Jabba's Palace display. It didn't match up perfectly. Obviously, the original figure is underscaled and the skin tone is slightly off, but the face is definitely a marked improvement over the original, as you can see here. Part of me is like, I want to go in and do some corrective paintwork on there to try and match it up a bit better. The other part of me is like, I don't want to ruin this head because it looks really good, and really when it's on the shelf and you're just sort of looking at it offhandedly, you can't really tell that it's not the right head, even if it is like a fraction of an inch too big and a slightly different skin tone. For other people who might be planning to do this customization themselves, the ball joint in the neck of the original Slave Leia is very, very difficult to work with, and actually, as you see it up on my shelf, the head is not all the way into the ball joint, because if you push it all the way in, she loses her neck and looks very silly. Whereas the way I have it, it's kind of sitting sort of comfortably, and I can position it however I like. I'll still be holding on to the original head, just in case I ever want to put it back on if I'm not 100% satisfied, but I've got some more customizations that I want to do to my Jabba's Palace display, particularly when my pre-order of that 40th anniversary Jabba shows up. That'll call for a full overhaul of the display. In the meantime, this one will be going in the box. If you don't have the Yavin Ceremony Leia, it is a fantastic figure. As I say, I already own it, and it's good to have another medal that I can use as well. I've been tempted to do a Yavin Ceremony display, but I would need to find another Power of the Force Han Solo, so I guess we'll see. In the meantime, this worked out absolutely great. So those were all of the fine additions to my collection from the month of May. So let me pass this off to you. Did you have any great additions to your collection this month? A great pre-order that came in? I've seen on Reddit that Jessie is starting to ship, so I will be keeping an eye out for that. But yeah, if you got anything cool this month, leave me a comment down below and I will get back to each and every one of you. And join us next week when we will be continuing the wishlist series by looking at 5 figures from Solo: A Star Wars Story that I need to see come to the Black Series. I'm really enjoying this series. It's cool to kind of like predict what figures are going to come out, and more importantly, just sort of like, just be hopeful. Just, this is the figure that I want to get. In the meantime, however, I've been Grand Moff Tony. Those were the fine additions for the month of May. You may subscribe when ready. In another... Crap, where? Forbidden Planet, yeah. Annex. Oh no.